Hey guys, what's up? Shane here again, and today we got a couple things to look at, a couple of really cool things. First off, patch 2.2.0 information was released. We already knew a little bit about this, but they're giving us a first look now, even though we kind of already got a look at BlizzCon, right? Anyways, let's see here. What are they telling us? Patch 2.2.0 is currently in development and coming soon to a public test region near you. And kind of near everyone. Well, it's only really near people in the US. I mean, the test server is on the US and everyone's got to play on it. So, like, people from EU and Asia, like, kind of get screwed with that ping. But, again, anyways... Here's a first look at some of the new content and changes you can expect to see, and of course, test your heart's delight once the PTR is live. Alright, I'm really looking forward to the PTR, guys. You guys know by now that anytime a PTR is up, I am there. I'm testing everything, theory crafting. Like, that's really now because every major patch with major changes, there's always a PTR now, so theory crafting is done on the PTR. After the PTR, once the patch is actually released, like, everything's already set in stone. And if you're gonna theory craft, you can only really theory craft for the first few days of, you know, the content being up, because after that, everyone's kind of got it figured out and shared the information, and, you know, everyone who wanted to know pretty much knows what's up. I mean, it takes a few weeks to really settle, but still, the PTRs usually last a little longer than that. Alright, so what are we getting? Legendary updates, adventure mode updates, class updates, quality of life updates. Alright, so as we already knew, there's gonna be 3 new sets. One for a demon hunter, one for a barb, which is the whirlwind set you guys constantly ask about. It's coming in patch 2.0. And then there's a wizard set, so that's interesting, because it would be nice to see the wizard do a little better. You know, since Reaper's Souls Wizard, I mean, in the beginning, they had the Frozen Orb, and that was awesome. Oh my god, I loved my Frozen Orb Sorceress from Diablo 2. That was my main in vanilla Diablo 2. Frozen Orb Sorceress, because Sorceress were the only one with teleport, so if you were gonna magic find, or you're gonna farm bosses, you know, had to teleport through the levels, find the boss, kill him, leave, go back in, do the same thing, usually doing Mephisto runs. It was just a boss, you had to like teleport through 2 RNG levels, you find the boss, and you kill him. Oh man, it would be nice to see some Frozen Orb action, but it's not really about that. I forget what the Demon Hunter and Wizard sets are exactly. You guys could open your launcher, come here and look at them, but the Barbarian set is going to be a whirlwind set. And what it's going to do is, whenever you apply Rend to a target, it's going to make your whirlwind do, like, what was it, 200 or 300% more damage. And then there's another, like, Skullgrasp Ring is getting, whirlwind does, like, 50 to 100% damage, something like that. I don't know the exact numbers yet, but, yeah, it's looking to be, like, a Rend whirlwind type build. And it seems cool and all. I can honestly say that I love Raycore. Raycore requires a lot of thought, a lot of skill. You could give any old barb, anyone, full ancient Raycore, best in slot, ancient furnace, which I don't have yet. By the way, I got another intelligence furnace, and this one was actually good. If I could have just rolled that 6% to 10%, baller. You know, right now it's not as good as this ancient Maximus I got, but I don't have a fire SOJ. So because of that, the furnace comes out a little better. Now, if we just look at DPS, then yeah, the Maximus, but that extra 15 attack speed really hurts, because if you look at the damage numbers, this Maximus actually has a lower minimum damage, 3127. The furnace non-ancient has 3244. Now the max damage is where it kicks in. Furnace only has 3753. I'm sorry, here. Let me bring down. I'm sorry, guys. I failed. Where is it? Okay. Now, we were talking about furnace. Yes, I got another intelligence furnace. That's it. That's my Maximus that I was just talking about. So the two items right there. And like I said, the furnace has a max damage of 3753, where the Maximus has a max damage of 4233. So that max damage is nice. It's all about that average damage, and Maximus has a little bit higher average damage. Maximus has the 20% fire skill, and then this furnace has the 42 elite, and elite's worth a little more than elemental, plus it's over double the elemental. So the furnace is actually very, very close to the Maximus. And like I said, with my gearing options, this furnace is a little better right now because I have a physical SOJ. Because of that, and because of that, I think the Maximus is still a little better. With these ancient items and non-ancient furnace and all this, things get a little complicated. Get a little too complicated. I still don't like what they did with this whole ancient thing, giving weapons so much more damage. Like 30% stat is acceptable, but they really shouldn't have made that apply to the weapon damage. They really, really, really shouldn't have, because they always talk about not wanting to confuse people. Well, you confuse the hell out of everyone with this, because trying to tell the difference between like which weapon's better for you and which one's not better for you, oh my god, it's a pain in the ass. But what you could do, guys, is what I did. I went on Diablo Progress and I equipped the gear that I was thinking about using, and I logged off and I checked Diablo Progress, checked my Elemental Elite. With my Maximus and Royal and Leoric's Crown, my LE Elite was like 1.6 million. And then when I equipped the SOJ and Furnace with Raycor Helm, my Elemental Elite was like 1.85 mil. So that's the deal. That's the deal there. I mean, and it's really hard to use. Like, I guess I could use a Stone of Jordan physical, even though I'm using fire, and it might work out too. But listen, like, this 30% extra damage on weapons is fucking, pardon my French, but it is fucking annoying. Not only is it annoying, but you get a furnace and it's like, oh man, yeah, I got a furnace. Non-ancient. Oh, it's garbage, yay. Like, any item you find in the game you get excited about, but it's like when you find a weapon, you're shaken because, you know, you could go through 20 furnaces and never get an ancient one, and you're just screwed the whole season, man. So, I guess I'll stop ranting about that now, but yeah, that's the deal with that. Let's go back to the launcher. Alright, so we got these 3 new sets, but we already knew about that. Now, this is really, really damn cool. We're getting new legendaries and reworked legendaries, and also Zunimasa's Raiment of 1,000 Storms, Roland's Legacy, Talrash's Elements, Ina's Mantra, Natalia's Vengeance, Immortal Kings, all getting reworked, and it looks like they're getting 6-piece bonuses or something like that. Who knows what they do to these sets. So in 2.2, not only are we going to have a new set, but we're basically going to have 2 new sets because they're reworking Immortal Kings. Now, the Permanent Ancients is cool, so I hope they let us keep that, but then they add something good on top of it, because IK is only for Ancients, and Perma Ancients by itself is not really that big of a deal, because you get cooldown reduction, and you have them up a good deal of the time anyways. But if you get Permanent Ancients plus, like, some kind of bonus to this or that, that actually, you know, worked in some kind of build, then, you know, we can have these guys up all the time while playing a cool little spec like Furious Charge. Who knows? Obviously, they wouldn't, you know, make another Furious Charge set, but, you know, they could base it around something. Now, seeing these Seismic Slam Seismic threads. Yeah. Treads? Seismic treads. Sorry. I apparently can't read today. Their bonus affix is Ground Stomp causes an avalanche. Now, if you don't know what Ground Stomp is, let's go back into the game here. Go to a random waypoint. This is an ability I use in my Greater Rift build. I'm actually in my Greater Rifting build right now, but just for demonstration purposes. Ground Stomp is an ability that sucks mobs in. Boom. Awesome. By the way, this is the normal furnace. Pretty damn awesome. Pretty nice, right? Pretty nice. Woo. But you suck the mobs in. Boom. And then you blow them up. Now, what they're going to do is these boots are going to add avalanche onto that pull. So you can pull all the mobs. Well, Ground Stomp itself is a stun. But there's a rune that makes it pull and stun, which is great. But what they're going to do is turn that into avalanche. Now, avalanche... here, let's... What are we going to replace? Let's replace Ignore Pain. Where's avalanche? I probably just skipped it. There it is. Avalanche has all different kinds of runes, but cause a massive avalanche, rocks, blah blah blah, 1600% weapon damage. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Cooldown is reduced by 1 second for every 25 fury you spend. Okay. So now there's an avalanche volcano. Chunks of lava are randomly launched at nearby enemies, dealing 4,400% weapon damage as fire over 5 seconds. Alright, so now if those boots actually did the same thing like Leapquake and just took whatever avalanche you were using, avalanche, volcano, plus those boots, plus something like Raycore, could be, you know, not only decent damage, but could add some single target, guys. Could add some single target. Because if you're against a single target and these avalanche, these things are launched at that single target every time because there are no other targets. So let's get this avalanche right here. Well, I'd really like to show it against an elite, but because it's a 30-second cooldown, which is pretty big. So I want to get the Ground Stomp and then the avalanche so we could show how it works. Okay, so it's going to be a pull, and then this avalanche is going to hit every time you pull. Pretty damn cool, right? I mean, it's too early to tell, like, if that's gonna be good or bad or whatever. Way too early to tell. But who knows? It pretty cool. Every time you Ground Stomp. Now, I could, like, literally spam that. So that on top of my charges and, you know, just to get a little bit of single target, a little more damage. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows where it could go? It might be bad. It might be good. It might not work with Raycore. It might work with another set. You never really know, because when it comes to just theory crafting on pen and paper and think like, okay, this does this much damage and that does that much damage, so this might be better for that. But you're not going to know because there are too many variables in Diablo. All different situations, like how dense things are and what kind of mobs you got. So there we go. That's the avalanche plus the stun, and boom, it keeps them in there. Look, it just destroyed them. And now let's see, this is going to be single target. I'm going to wait for my... Oh, look, I could reduce the cooldown every time I pop that. Okay, watch. And that's going to be that single target right there. That's not too bad, you know? Just to kind of add on to maybe single target when your charges are down, because every single Ground Stomp is going to do that, guys. Every single one. The range on the fireballs, you know, actually the fireballs might not actually auto-target something. I think they just shoot off randomly and hit the floor. We could test that right here. No, yeah, they shoot targets. If there's a target, it'll just keep shooting fireballs at that target. So let's get this single target right here. Hit an avalanche. And watch the fireballs are... Oh, look, there's one that hit there, so, and there were mobs over there, so... Huh. I'd really like to get, like, an elite or something. Here we go. Ah! The elite died faster than the whites. How the hell is that possible? I want to see against single target, like, what happens. Okay, so that one guy just died. I want to try to get... Damn it. I accidentally hit him. My damage is too high right now. My damage is too high, guys. What do I do? Anyways, you guys get what I'm saying. Either way, like... Oh, there we go. Let's see if we could kill the minions before we actually kill... Okay, look. The minions are dead. We got this yellow right here. Now, let's pop our Wrath of the Berserker and then hit Avalanche. Well, let's ground stomp him. Avalanche, hit Wrath of the Berserker. Look at that. I'm going to try to spend some fury here. Reset it. Let's ground stomp him and then pop the avalanche. Whatever. Yeah. So it looks like it pretty much targets. It hits him at least a lot. You get the nice little stun. Greater Rift bosses don't get stunned as long though. But, you know, the ground stomp is on a separate DR. So when you stun a Greater Rift boss, like when you freeze the Greater Rift boss with your Furious Charge, that's separate. So when the boss becomes immune to your freeze, you'll still get full duration on your ground stomp stun, because it's a stun and a freeze. They're separate. So once the boss becomes immune to your freeze, you stun them, and that's really good. Like, I use that when I fight bosses like Stone Singer and stuff to keep them from swinging and one-shotting me while I'm spamming my charge on top of them. But yeah, there's cool stuff like that. So now let's go back to the launcher, read a few more things. We got Gauntlets of the Rain. Rain of Vengeance deals 84% increased damage, so I don't know about that, but hey. Alright, so then we got Adventure Mode updates, new Rift layouts. If you've been playing lots of Nephilim or Greater Rifts, you may feel like you've seen them all. Starting patch 2.2, however, you'll begin to see some new Rift tile sets based on the Fields of Misery and Festering Woods from Act 1, Stinging Winds from Act 2, and Fields of Slaughter from Act 3. Their map layouts are randomized as well, so they'll look different each time you explore them. Below you can see two of these new layouts. The first image is a randomization of the Stinging Wilds, and the second is based on the Festering Woods. I love Festering Woods. I love that map. I don't know, something about it. I just really like it. So that's nice. I like how these maps seem more open, because as a barb, when you get maps like this, and you do get maps like this in Greater Rifts where you have to walk through these thin hallways, really bad, because like Arcane Orbs spawn, you have nowhere to go, you can't get near the mobs. Frozen Orbs come up, they stack on top of each other, 10 Frozen Orbs on top of each other, each ticking you, and the damage stacks like 1 or 2 ticks and you're dead. It's ridiculous. But I'm liking the way these maps are looking, but it also said that they're Nephilim and Greater Rift, so who knows which one will be in the T6 Rifts and which ones will be in the Greater Rifts, or, you know, the normal mode Rifts. I just call them T6 Rifts, like the normal game and Greater Rifts, it's like T6 and Greater Rifts. That's just what I'm used to now, but whatever. New bounties. If you're a fan of Adventure Mode, you'll be happy you'll soon have over 20 new bounties. Still can't read today. To discover in Acts 2, 3, wow, I'm dumb. 2, 4, and 5. We're also introducing a brand new type of bounty to the game, exploration. As the name implies, these new bounties involve exploring an area and finding people who need to be rescued if they're good guys or slain if they're not. You'll see 14 bounties of this type across all acts in the game. That sounds cool, actually. That reminds me of like Act 5 in Diablo 2, the first quest where you have to like save all the captured barbarians. I'm sure you guys remember that quest. Back in Ariat. Alright. Class updates. Unlike some of our previous patches, 2.2 will not have a large focus on changes to class skills. While certain skills will be receiving updates, they will be relatively minor in scope, aimed more at fine-tuning current overall balance and providing synergy with some of the new legendary powers mentioned above. So yeah, with all the things that they're doing with patch 2.0, it's very likely that we're going to be looking at a new meta for a lot of the classes, new builds, all different stuff. Like, who knows? I mean, yes, there's a chance that the current build will still be best even after they add all this new stuff, because things like that happen. But, you know, some of the class, at least one of the classes, at least a couple of the classes, I think, are going to be looking at a new meta. They're going to be playing new builds come patch 2.2. So that's exciting, guys. That's really exciting. It's almost like they're just redoing Diablo. Like, it's that, like, with this, what they're doing, it's almost like they're giving us a whole new expansion. It's really crazy. Like, patch 2.0, this has like blown my mind. I do not expect this kind of content or this much content to come out of a patch. I mean, patch 2.1 came and it was great, man. It was great. We got lots of new stuff. It was cool. You know, we got the greater rifts and that was cool and all. But this patch, just like, wow, I don't even know what to say. Amazing. And we're getting new goblins, quality of life improvements, cosmetic window for your wings and all that stuff. And this cosmetic window is giving me hope that they're gonna add some microtransactions. I mean, come on, Blizz. We want to buy wings. We want to buy wings. Like, if someone doesn't want to buy wings, then they don't have to. But we want wings. We want wings. Some of us want pets. Like, screw it, you know? If you play this game enough to consider it your hobby, like I do, then, you know, dropping 15 bucks to make your character look cool, that's, you know, what's so wrong about that? What's so wrong about throwing 20 bucks on your hobby? Nothing. Nothing. And if you don't want it, if you don't want to spend all that money on a game, because, listen, there's so many microtransactions in games these days. And some games, you need to purchase them, otherwise you're gimped. But, like, cosmetic microtransactions are great. Like, screw all those pay-to-win games, all that stuff. I don't see why these companies just don't add cosmetic microtransactions. People like that, and people who don't like microtransactions don't mind cosmetic ones, because no one's getting advantage over them, and it will bring in extra revenue, which they could use on improving the game. So what's so bad about it? But the fact that they're adding in this cosmetic window almost seems like they're gonna give us some nice stuff to get. Some pets, some wings, some banners, some whatever. Cool dyes. I don't know. It'd be cool if there was, like, maybe a dye for your weapon. Like, weapon dyes you could get. Or that like, made your weapon glow. Like, kind of like, you know, how you could enchant your weapon in World of Warcraft and it gives it, like, a nice little glow. Alright, so now you can get little cosmetic items that make your weapon glow blue or glow green, or, you know, or you could buy auras for your character. You guys remember auras? Like, when you equipped the Immortal King set in Diablo 2, you got, like, this shiny aura around your character. It was like these shiny yellow light coming out of your character. Really, really cool looking stuff. Although no one used it because it was kind of poo-poo, but It looked cool. And oh, the Necromancer set, it actually turned you into like one of the monsters in the game, one of the Act 2 monsters, the summoner type monsters. Really, really cool. Kind of looked like Zoltan Cool, basically. You put on the Necro set, it made you look like Zoltan Cool-ish, if you don't know what I'm talking about. Alright, new file system. This is all technical stuff. I read it, but I don't know. It looks like they're trying to improve the game. Like, they say they were using files, MPQ files, and they're gonna change those files to CASC files. Something to do with fixing errors during installation, faster patches. I'm hoping that these files they're changing and these improvements they're making are to fix the FPS issues. There are issues with certain classes like Demon Hunters on certain levels, like Demon Hunters and levels with fire or red type glowy effects. Just tank your FPS. I mean, man, like, I get lots of FPS. I really do. I get a ton of... Right now I have my FPS capped, but if I just let my FPS just go out of control, I get like over 300 FPS, 350 FPS. But then there are certain parts in the game where I could tank down to 10 FPS, no lie. If I'm with Demon Hunters in a 4-person group and I hit one of those maps that have the red glowy effects with lots of density, it's over, man. It's over. I'm down to 10. I'm spiking down to 10 FPS until I charge away from the Demon Hunters and then shoot back up to 120. But I mean, you know, that's serious stuff. They should really, really be fixing that. That's not cool. It's just totally not cool. It's not really acceptable in, you know, what we consider a AAA title. Alright. Back to the launcher. While these are a few of the more noticeable adjustments we're making, patch 2.2 will also include several additional fixes, quality of life enhancements, and other changes not listed above. So, on top of all this stuff that they're talking about, they're gonna add more stuff. I remember in BlizzCon, they actually announced a new Rift boss, the Rat King. Basically, you hit him and like little rats, like he had holes all over his body. He's a big giant rat with holes all over his body, and he has like rats living inside of him. So you hit him and rats come out, and just think about it. As a Furious Charge Barb, that boss right there. Oh, as a Barb in general, because Battle Rage Bloodshed. Ugh. So that boss is going to be really nasty. I'm looking forward to that boss. But I'm really not looking forward to fishing for bosses. Some things I would really, really like to see in a patch soon. Greater Rift changes. That's where this game really, really needs help. I mean, there's just a few things about Greater Rifts that, like, if they changed it, it would make the experience great. But there's a few things that just make the experience annoying. Number 1, Greater Rift bosses. Alright? Number 1, when you spawn the Greater Rift boss, you should be teleported to a boss room. Give us a boss room. Now, imagine spawning a boss who throws out arcane orbs, and you have nothing to fight in except a map like this, a long hallway. So an arcane orb comes out here, an arcane orb. You have nowhere to go. You can't get near the boss. You can't hit him. You got to keep kiting him back. Or Gom. That happened to me in a rift where I was about to clear it, and I got Gom. And it was bullshit because I was in a hallway and he spawns a poison pool and I gotta go back and I gotta let him walk all the way to me and then charge him again, and then another poison pool comes up and I have to walk all the way back to stay out of the poison. Like, it's silly. It's absolutely silly. You know, you're gonna fight a boss. We need a boss room. Like, how hard would it be? You fight, you hit that 100% mark, a little portal pops up, you click it, and now you're in a big circle room. They could just reuse like 1 or 2 areas, and depending on the boss you fight, like that, you know, that area would coordinate. Like, you shouldn't get a random boss room plus a random boss. Like, if you get a certain boss, then it comes with a certain boss room, and a few of the bosses could share the boss rooms. They could even use like the Uber rooms that they use. Things like that. That's something I really want to see. Another thing. Bosses and classes. There are bosses that certain classes cannot fight. It's silly that I have to go through a Greater Rift, I'm doing really well, and that I have to like sit there and hope that I get a killable boss. Like as a Barbarian, and when I'm really pushing Greater Rifts, I need to get Stone Singer or Saxtress. Or maybe one of, you know, my, if I'm wearing an immunity necklace, I could get something like Raziel, even though he'd need a little more time. Like, I need bosses who spawn ads as a Furious Charge Barb. Regardless, I mean, I just think, like, if you're doing solo Greater Rifts, they should sort of, like, eliminate some of the bosses that are just really bad against your class. Like, that's what they should do. They should have melee bosses, bosses for melee characters, and ranged bosses, bosses for ranged characters. I don't know. It's just an idea. I'm just shooting it out there. It's just really frustrating. It's just really frustrating as a barb. Like, I'm there, I'm fighting, I clear the rift so good, and then boom, I get like Erathon. Erathon has a melee physical charge that's like super fast and like unavoidable, and it one-shots you. I see that boss and it's like, alright, I gotta literally leave the game. I can't even kill him and like get the loot, because, you know, whatever, it'll take 17 minutes. No, man, I try to fight that boss fight alone is gonna take 15-20 minutes. It's silly. It's just not right. Like, the amount of times I need to leave the game. Just like, I would love to finish a rift. Like, if a rift, like, alright, I didn't beat it, but it took 20 minutes. Alright, sure, I'll kill the boss. But if I'm gonna, you know, spawn the boss within like 8-9 minutes, and then that boss I see is like one of my super hard counter bosses, if that boss is gonna, I have to sit there 20 minutes just dying over and over, not to mention waiting 30 seconds, well, I mean, for at least the beginning of the fight till you hit that 15-minute mark. Oh, man. Another thing would be nice is, I understand the cooldown timer in group, because you could res each other, but when you're by yourself, why not just make it so that when you die, you could res right away, but it just minuses time, like it adds time onto your run. So you know how you have the little bar right here? Alright, so if you died the maximum amount of times and it's a 30-second res timer, instead of sitting there staring at your screen for half a minute, why not just add 30 seconds on to the time that it took you? You know? Because you're gonna have to sit there for 30 seconds regardless. So if you're at, you know, 10 minutes and you died like 10 times or whatever, you're at 10 minutes, that's how long you've been in the rift, you res, and then boom, it adds 30 seconds onto that, so now you're at 10:30, like instant. You know, things like that, like, just to make the game fun and get rid of all those things that are frustrating and annoying, because there are quite a few things like that. Another thing I would like to see, but I don't ever expect to see this, I talked about it before, take the 30% bonus off the damage on ancient weapons. It causes way too much confusion. I mean, I stream every day, and constantly people are asking me, what weapon do I use? What weapon do I use? Do I use this ancient one or this non-ancient one, or is this one better? Is that one better? Is this one better? That one better? This one better? That one better? All the time. Everyone. So many people are confused. Even me. To have to decide between these two weapons, to figure out that, you know, this is better because I have SOJ and this and that, and I have to use Diablo progress to check my elemental elite, but that doesn't even tell me like what's better because of attack speed and DPS inflation. And come on, really? On top of that, it's ridiculous. When I see a furnace drop on the floor, I want to sit there and hope for good rolls. And if it doesn't roll good, alright, well, it didn't roll good, but it's still a furnace. You know, I'm happy with that. No. You have to sit there and roll it and hope for that 1 in 9 chance. Because if you don't see that little gold border, you're just totally let down. You see a furnace drop on the floor, you get all excited. You can't be excited. You're not excited. You're nervous. You're nervous when you see like one of the best weapons drop on the floor. Because you're like, oh man, if this doesn't roll ancient, it's worthless. It's worthless. Like for me, okay, like I said, right now I could use this non-ancient furnace, but only because it rolled decently. Like if it doesn't have the percent damage, cooldown, strength, decent damage, worthless. Like it's not going to compare to the Maximus, and this doesn't even really compare to the Maximus. Only if it's like near 3.7k with good elite damage, you know, percent damage, cooldown, strength, then it could be semi near an ancient Maximus, ancient Heart Slaughter, semi, not even. And it's just so, it's just the worst feeling, man. It's just the worst feeling, because you sit there and you farm these ancients. What do I have? What do I have now? What do I have? No, I gotta go to seasons. Season 2. I have 93 hours. 93 hours. I've gotten 2 furnaces. Both of those furnaces have been intelligence and non-ancient. Now, yes, I got this furnace and it was intelligence. If it wasn't intelligence, it would have been a worthy non-ancient furnace, because I would have rolled the 6% to 10%. I would have got like a 3.65-ish. I don't know. I don't feel like doing the math. The 3.6 to 3.7k furnace, non-ancient, and that's good. You know, it's comparable to like an ancient Maximus or an ancient Heart Slaughter. Probably like, you know, the elite damage is better than having elemental damage, so you know. But to sit there and have to just hope for an ancient, otherwise it's pretty much trash, it's not good. It doesn't feel good. It sucks. It's like a lottery thing, because I could literally, like, this is the only thing I need. I have the 90 hours played. I got pretty much everything I need. You know, I do need a few more SOJs. Like, I need a fire SOJ just in case for Maximus. Like, technically I only really need the physical SOJ if I get the ancient furnace. But with the 1 in 9 chance and then having to hope it rolls good on top of that, I mean, you're looking at having to farm 20-30 furnaces on average to get a good ancient furnace. And I'm getting like, I play like 12 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. Lately I've been playing like 20-25 hours a session. Can't even say a day anymore, but just kind of ridiculous, because, you know, I do this as a job professionally, sort of, I guess you could say. So, you know, I've just been putting a lot into it into the beginning of the season, because it's what I like to do. It's what I do. But I mean, to you know, to ask that from a normal player, or, you know, like someone, even if you play 8 hours a day, I mean, I think it's out of this world, because I have 100 hours almost. I got in 2 furnaces, both non-ancient. And now, like, even previously, when patch 2.1.2 actually came out, I got an ancient furnace right away, but after that I got, you know, a total of like 7 ancient furnaces, and that was in a month. I'm sorry, I got 7 furnaces, 1 ancient, and that was in the matter of a month, playing around 8 hours a day. So, I mean, I don't know, just, and like I said, like, you get an ancient furnace, it doesn't mean anything. Like, it could roll bad. It could roll very bad. Like, there are going to be a lot of people, even people who play a lot and like to take this game seriously, that aren't going to get an ancient furnace that's good, just because it's such a lottery item. It's a lottery item. Like, most items you could farm, you could get a good one if you just put enough effort into it. But because of this ancient giving 30% damage, it's not cool. Not cool. You could play 10 hours a day the whole season and not get a good one. I got really lucky with mine, and that was in a month, and I only got 1 of them, 1 ancient, and I just, luckily it rolled well. Luckily, it rolled well. Anyways, with that all said, let's go over the first week of the season. I know this video is really, really, really long. I just noticed that, but I'm gonna do a quick recap here on what exactly I picked up during the season. All right, so here it is. Here's my barb. I'm in my Greater Rift spec. I got some nice items. I got a decent pair of awards. They don't have vitality, but strength, cooldown, Fury's charge, area damage. Great. I got an ancient Raycor helm. It's missing the secondary resist, and that kind of blows. But all right, I'll take it. I'm currently out of DBs because I've been farming Greater Rift so much, so I can't like enchant my gear. I'm gonna have to do some rifts soon. I got a Zephyrian amulet. This thing rolled with crit chance and cooldown, which is great, but it had intelligence. Ancient Zephyrian amulet with intelligence, and then 2 intelligence furnaces and an intelligence sunkeeper. Ugh. Whatever. It's still pretty decent, and it's good for greater rifting. I got my ancient Parthen defenders that are pretty good. I got, a decent Raycor chest. I got my trifecta Raycor gloves. I got a 6-second Pride of Cassius. Great. I got 2 of these unities. I have another one that has 5 crit chance with 12 elite damage and rolled cooldown. So that's awesome. And, of course, I got my follower set up with Can't Die, Thunder Fury, Ancient Thunder Fury, Unity, Esjoan, BK, and Woodward, and Frieza Deflection. I got my properly statted Raycor pants. I got ancient properly statted Raycor boots that I still need to enchant but can't because I don't have DBs. I got a physical SOJ, just the regular one. It's ancient, but whatever, doesn't matter. I'd rather have a properly rolled one with crit damage or cooldown or something like that. And then my weapons. I've got an ancient Maximus that rolled pretty decent, and I got an ancient furnace. I'm sorry, I'm so out of it. A normal furnace. I got a normal furnace that rolled really well, but came with intelligence. So because it came with intelligence, it almost, kind of ruined the weapon. But luckily, it came with the damage and cooldown, even though it's only 6%. If that had 10%, it would be a lovely normal furnace. Lovely. But it has the life after kill. Both weapons are useful. If I'm using my SOJ and, I did furnace, I actually got through 45 earlier. It took a little while because, I didn't beat the 15 minutes because I got Zoltan Cool, and I got him in a really, really tiny room, and I had a conduit pylon, so I popped the conduit pylon, and he threw his rocks down, and the whole room was filled with an avalanche of rocks. And that's what I was talking about before with, please, give us boss rooms. What else did I get? I got a 40% Chylanic chain. Got my nice cooldown royal ring. I got a nice Leoric's crown. My nemesis bracers. Oh, got this nice Eye of It Lich. It's fire skill, but it's pretty decent. Pretty decent. Yeah, that's about that. I have cleared a Greater Rift 42, but I haven't been doing Greater Rift progressions. That was just one attempt. At the end of my farm session where I played for 20 hours, I was just like, screw it, I'm gonna go do 1 Greater Rift. I did 1 Greater Rift, and I cleared the 42. I think it got me like rank 26. I was probably lower than that now, but doesn't matter. I don't care. And yeah, that's basically what's been done in a week. Well, a little less than a week, about 6 days, because today's Friday. Anyways, yeah, that's about it, guys. I know this is a really long video, so, man, if you watch the whole thing, you're awesome. Totally awesome. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you want, like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Like always, much appreciated. Much appreciated. See you guys tomorrow. Later.